Protest songs were a very important part of the civil rights movement, and one of the most contributing bands to the cause was the Impressions. The band was formed in 1958 by Sam Gooden, Richard Brooks, and Arthur Brooks. Later, they added Jerry Butler and Curtis Mayfield. The band had many influential songs, one of which being Keep On Pushing. It was released in 1964 and gave people strength to keep on going when the movement got hard. In context, the song was released in the midst of the Freedom Summer, the New York race riots, and the signing of the Civil Rights Act. Band member Curtis Mayfield wrote the song and was also the lead singer. He was born in 1942 in Chicago, Illinois. As an artist, Mayfield became known for including political themes into his songs. He played a very important role in the civil rights movement and inspired thousands not only with Keep On Pushing, but also with other songs like People Get Ready. During the time of Great Oppression, Keep On Pushing provided a way for people to unite and protest for equal rights. In this photo, the man and woman are partaking in peaceful demonstrations to obtain equal rights for people across America. When times got tough, the song provided hope and comfort. Keep On Pushing was a very popular song to sing on freedom rides. The freedom rides were a form of protest where black and white Americans rode buses in unification through the South to challenge the segregation laws. They encountered many hardships and violence. The song's upbeat lyrics gave them hope and motivation. The song was a successful protest song because of its catchy and meaningful lyrics. I've got to keep on pushing, I can't stop now. Move up a little higher, some way, somehow. Mayfield carefully crafted the lyrics to hide the meaning from the greater public, but for it to still be apparent to those fighting for civil rights. If the song appeared to be too politically charged, it would not have been accepted by the majority of American citizens and would have never reached the top 10 on the Billboard pop and R&B song charts. Another very important and meaningful song of the civil rights movement was "Oh Freedom." The song, simple and repetitive, encompasses an emotional message that speaks directly to the African American community. There is a strong feeling of ease and peace present in the lyrics. "Oh Freedom" is thought to have been written in 1863 following the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, an executive order delivered by President Abraham Lincoln declaring slavery illegal. The original writer of the song is not clear, but when examining the lyrics, it becomes apparent it was written after a big victory. No more weepin', no more weepin', no more worry, no more worry, no more worry over me, and before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave. Rooted deep in the song is a desire and yearning to be free and the bonds of slavery. It proclaims that they will no longer be shackled by the oppression and injustice they were once subjected to. It is a very powerful song that empowered many people throughout American history. Many influential people of the civil rights movement have sang "Oh Freedom" at various parts in time, Joan Baez being one of the most well-known. Baez was born in 1941 in Staten Island, New York. She attended several protests where she led songs like "Oh Freedom," "We Shall Overcome," and "Birmingham Sunday." Joan Baez performed the song the morning of Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I Have a Dream" speech. This was a very powerful moment for the large crowd and brought them together in solidarity. It was the first time the song had been performed in that way, and thereafter it became a very meaningful song in the movement. Harry Belafonte is another activist and singer to have made use of "Oh Freedom." He was born in 1927 in Harlem, New York, and is one of the most successful African American pop singers in history. He was a very close friend of Martin Luther King Jr. and financially supported the King family during the civil rights movement. Another group to sing "Oh Freedom" was the Golden Gospel Singers. Unlike the other two singers, they made use of the song in the 90s instead of the 60s. They were formed in 1991 by Bob Singleton. All the artists in the group came from Harlem, New York. The final song that I researched was "Theta No Bother." This is an anti-apartheid song and loosely translates to "Oliver Tambo, speak with Botha and release Mandela." Nelson Mandela was the father and leader of the anti-apartheid movement, and was imprisoned in 1964 by P.W. Botha, the president of South Africa at the time. P.W. Botha was the president of South Africa from 1984 to 1989. His time as president classifies the most brutal period in the anti-apartheid movement. Although he did legalize interracial marriage and relax groups' area acts, Botha refused to cooperate with the African National Congress. Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela were very close friends, and together they opened the first black law firm in South Africa. While Mandela was in prison, Tambo served as acting president of the ANC. Thatha No Botha shows black South Africans yearning for Tambo's to free Mandela from his long and unjust imprisonment. Thatha No Botha was saying while thousands of South Africans protested the apartheid and was very powerful in uniting people. It was a way for the people to tell black leaders what they wanted, and what they wanted was the release of Nelson Mandela. Black South Africans felt as though they could not be free until Mandela was free. Mandela was more than just a leader, he was a symbol of hope. He had gained the trust of his followers, and they were not about to let him stay in jail. Without Nelson Mandela, the anti-apartheid movement would have looked much different. After serving 27 years in prison, Mandela was finally freed. After his release, Thatha No Botha rang truer than ever. The song was now sang in celebration. Mandela's release was one of South Africa's happiest days and the beginning of a new future, a future of equality and justice.